Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Assembly Committee on Commerce and Labor. Secretary, will you please take roll?
Assemblywoman Backus. Assemblyman Carter.
Present.
Assemblywoman Duran.
Here.
Assemblywoman Hardy.
Here.
Assemblywoman Howdigi. Assemblywoman Kasama.
Here.
Assemblywoman Monroe Moreno. Assemblyman O'Neill.
Here.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Here.
Assemblyman Yeager. Assemblyman Urich. Chair Marzola.
And I am here. Please mark Assemblywoman Backus, absent excused, and mark members present as they arrive. Welcome everyone that is here in Carson City, anyone listening over the internet, and anyone in Las Vegas. Today we will hear three bills: Senate Bill 270, Senate Bill 310, and Senate Bill 352. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping announcements. Please turn off or put your cell phones on silent, including your computers. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door. If you have a business card, please provide the committee secretary with one. If you have handouts for the committee, please provide 20 copies to the committee secretary prior to your testimony. For those testifying online, please be sure to mute your microphone when you are not speaking to minimize any background noise. When testifying, please turn on your microphone and clearly state and spell your name for the record. I expect courtesy and respect in all our interactions in this committee, even if we may not agree. And with that, we will move to our first agenda item. I will now open the hearing on Senate Bill 270, which revises provisions governing massage therapists. Senator Scheibel, you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Chair Marzola and Assembly Committee on Commerce and Labor. My name is Melanie Scheibel. I'm the State Senator for District 9, and I'm here to present SB 270 to you this afternoon, which can be shorthand referred to as the Massage Therapy Compact. I've brought two people with me who are much better versed in this issue to present the bill to you, but we will all be here to answer questions. So if it's okay with you, Chair Marzola, I will turn it over to Nick Vanderpool from Flynn Giudice Government Affairs to walk you through the bill.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. Nick Vanderpool with Flynn Giudice Government Affairs, here today on behalf of the Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy. To my right is Sandy Anderson, Executive Director for the Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy. And joining us virtually is Kelly Mae Douglas with the Department of Defense, and Jessica Thomas, who is the Policy Analyst with the Council of State Governments. I'd like to first start of how we got here. And I think this is very imperative for the committee to understand. In 2020, the Department of Defense entered into a cooperative agreement with the Council of State Governments to fund the creation of new interstate compacts for occupational license. In collaboration with the DoD, CSG administered a competitive application process from eligible applicants, including professional associations, associations, or federations of state licensing boards, a coalition of state licensing boards, or national credentialing bodies. In March 2021, through an application from the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, massage therapy was selected to receive technical assistance from CSG in the development of new interstate compact to facilitate licensure mobility. Through appropriations from the U.S. Senate Armed Services Committee, the DoD has funded CSG's work in developing these compacts. The Interstate Massage Compact, also known as IMPACT, was finalized by CSG and the drafting committee in November of 2022. The Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy voted to approve entering into the Interstate Massage Compact, the IMPACT, on December 17th, 2022. There is a list of individuals who have submitted letters of support, but I'm going to turn it to Kelly Mae Douglas if she's on the call. I know she just landed in Washington, D.C., so she might not be on. I'd have to ask broadcasting. There she is.
I'm on. Hi.
Good afternoon, Chair Marzola, Vice Chair Howdigi, and members of the committee. Excuse me, I'm in a cab in DC right now, so I apologize. But on behalf of the United States Department of Defense and military families, I'm I'm here to speak in strong support of the policy addressed in SB 270, which would enact the Interstate Massage Therapy Massage Compact Impact in Nevada. State policies enacting interstate licensure compacts, such as the Massage Therapy Compact, relieve one of the many stressors of frequent military moves by enabling military spouses to transfer their license more quickly across state lines and obtain employment as soon as they relocate to a new state. These policies facilitate greater career sustainability for military spouses, improving their family's financial security and overall resilience. Finally, interstate compacts benefit not only military spouses, but also apply to all eligible professionals, to include active duty service members, reserve members of the military, guard, veterans, and civilians. By enacting the Massage Therapy Compact policy, Nevada would have the opportunity to increase its workforce available to serve the local community while supporting military families. In closing, the United States Department of Defense is very appreciative of Nevada's ongoing support of military families, and I just encourage you to vote aye on this measure. Thank you.
Chair Marzola, if you'll indulge me, I'd like to turn it over to Sandy Anderson, Executive Director.
Chair Marzola, members of the committee, Sandy Anderson, Executive Director for the Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy. I also serve as the Vice President of the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards. And we applied for one of those grants from DOD. We were granted the grant, and CSG worked with us to put together this compact that's before you today. It incorporates a lot of time and effort spent by constituents and stakeholders in the industry. We had representatives from leading spas that are around the country. I was on the tag as well. Representatives from states. We had massage therapists. We had a massage therapist that works on Olympians. We tried to diversify the tag group so that we could really address the diversity in the industry and come up with a compact that would allow for portability for military spouses, but also for licensees in general, to address the shortfall that we have in Nevada right now. All of our spas are hiring and they don't have enough staff. So we're looking for that. We have a lot of folks that are starting to focus on medical massage and doing more lymphatic drainage for cancer patients and that kind of thing. And we need to be able to bring more folks into the state to do that. So the board has worked for the past 7 years to clean up and fix all of their statutes and regulations and to bring us current and make us really cutting edge in our industry. This is, in my opinion, the next step and something that I have hoped for years. I was an educator for 18 years at TMCC teaching massage therapy students. So if we could get them through school, licensed, and able to practice in multiple states, I think that would be a real win for the licensees and the public. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Will you be going through the bill, Senator?
Nick Vanderpool for the record, Flynn Judici Government Affairs. Jessica Thomas from Council of State Governments joining us virtually is going to walk through the compact for the committee.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Marzola and committee members. For the record, my name is Jessica Thomas from the Council of State Governments. My testimony is meant to provide background educational information on this compact. First, as mentioned before, the compact was created through a cooperative agreement between the Department of Defense and the Council of State Governments. For the past 18 months, CSG has been developing the compact language with stakeholders within the massage therapy profession, from the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, National Professional Associations, state regulatory boards, and the education community. CSG has been working on compacts for several professions in partnership with the Department of Defense. Many of these have been finalized recently, including the Teacher Compact, Social Work Compact, Dentists and Dental Hygienists, and the Cosmetology Compact. So like those, the Interstate Massage Compact is an occupational licensing interstate compact. These are legally binding agreements among states. The compact seeks to provide licensees with opportunities for multi-state practice, support relocating military spouses, and foster workforce development by reducing burdens that come with maintaining multiple licenses. So the compact would enable massage therapists to obtain a multi-state license that's issued by their home state to practice in other states that join the compact, rather than getting an individual license in every state that they want to practice in. Like the compact for a driver's license, each compact member state will agree to mutually recognize the practitioner licenses issued from all of the other member states. So there are requirements for the massage therapist to be eligible. They must hold an active unencumbered license in their home state to be able to apply for a multi-state license. And they must also pass a background check, meet other eligibility requirements related to education and exams, and they also must meet the requirements concerning their previous criminal history. The Interstate Massage Compact benefits military families, as mentioned. If a military family gets assigned to a new duty station in a compact member state, the service member or their spouse can continue to work with their current multi-state license. From a regulatory perspective, the compact preserves the authority of each compact member state to protect public health and safety through the existing state regulatory structure. So a licensee that is practicing under a multi-state license must abide by the laws, the regulations, and the rules that govern the practice of massage therapy in the state where they are practicing. So the Nevada Board of Massage Therapy has jurisdiction over anyone practicing in Nevada, including those who are practicing there under a multi-state license. Like other occupational licensing compacts, the Interstate Massage Compact will be governed by a commission made up of the member states. That delegate will be representative from the Nevada Board of Massage Therapy. The compact will come into effect once it's enacted by 7 states. The compact is brand new, so right now there are no states who have enacted it. However, there are several with legislation that's been introduced. If enacted, Nevada would have a seat at the table when the Compact Commission has its first meeting to establish the compact's rules and bylaws. We don't anticipate substantial additional costs for states participating in the compact. There might be cost for additional software required to connect to the compact's interstate licensure data system, as well as any cost that would be associated with the attendance of your state's chosen commissioner to the annual compact commission meeting once the compact is enacted in 7 states and it becomes active. Overall, the Interstate Massage Compact will increase license portability for massage and bodywork professionals in Nevada, support military families, and improve access for services to Nevada residents while maintaining the current system of state licensure. Additionally, by ensuring the sharing of investigative and disciplinary information through that data system among participating states, the Interstate Massage Compact would allow member state regulatory entities to better protect the public through that shared information. Thank you for your time.
Chair Marzola, Nick Vanderpool for the record. Happy to answer any questions from the committee.
Thank you. We will start with Vice Chair Howdigi.
Thank you. Just a quick question, because I think there is some benefits to being like some of the first few states to join a compact, and I was hoping you could kind of walk the committee through and and all of us through what the benefits are, how the first states who enter the compact, how they're used to actually formulate the policies that all of the other states would enact.
Through the chair to the vice chair, Sandy Anderson. In the beginning phases, all of the rules that govern the compact will be formulated by that first 7 or so states. So if we ended up with 10, because I don't think we're going to hit 7 this year, but if we ended up with 10, say next year, those 10 states would all have representatives at the table when we formulate those rules, and we'd have more influence that way in what those rules are, better control, a little bit more input. Did that answer your question? Or
Yes,
do
could you
want
go
more
in-
details?
Yes, thank
More
you.
details. Okay. So as far as what those rules include, within the compact, there are multiple areas where things are not defined. They're left a little bit ambiguous. Costs, things that have to be determined over time as it's built. And those items would be up to the commission or council to come up with. Things like the pricing, additional educational requirements that might be formulated. That's one reason why I really want to be on that first group, because the language, the way it's written right now, allows for anyone with 500 hours who takes continuing ed to pull that in and have that make up the whole amount of hours that are being required. And we want to keep that solidly in place so that there's no question about that. There's contracts that have to be created, potentially a position hired as the executive director, some of those other types of business things for the compact. Was that better? Okay.
Assemblywoman Torres.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I've seen a number of different compact bills on this committee and some of my other bill committees this session, and so I'm just wondering who sets the standards for the licensing requirements. In some of the compacts that I've looked at, it still allows for the state to set the standards for what that licensing looks like, and so for this specific compact, does the compact then does the membership then determine what those are? And I found some document online that kind of gives more information. It seems to me like the licensing standards that are already within this, and are those different than what we currently have?
Sandy Anderson, for the record, through the chair, back to Assemblywoman Torres. Right now, our education is 550 hours. Other than that, everything pretty much in the compact lines up with Nevada, but we have less education than the compact requires, and that's why they're allowing for continuing education to be added to someone's initial education in order for them to qualify. Each state retains their requirements. So the licensee then is responsible for meeting the additional requirement by taking continuing ed to get to that higher hour limit that is required for compact licensure. Did that?
Thank you. And then how is that going to impact the current schools that exist that are providing students with this education and training? So would those students then finish the program, they would be able to be licensed here in Nevada, and that they would need additional training in order to do that? And then are those schools going to have to rise to that standard too and make those adjustments?
Well, Sandy Anderson, for the record, the schools wouldn't have to rise to anything. They could leave their requirements exactly as they are. The student would have to take some additional hours to qualify for compact licensure. And that would only apply to European, FUSUBA, and AMO. The rest of the programs in the state all have sufficient hours to qualify for the compact.
Committee members, any additional questions? Assemblywoman Hardy.
Thank you, Chair. Like my colleague mentioned, we've heard a lot of great compact bills this session. And so I was just wondering where it says letter U, a national licensing examination, and you mentioned that. Is that something that currently exists, or is this the compact would develop that, or if you could just talk about that? Thank you.
Sandy Anderson, for the record, through the chair, to Assemblywoman Hardy. I almost made you a senator there for a minute. The exam by the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards is a national exam that's used currently by most jurisdictions. Not all. New York has their own test, and Hawaii has their own test, and California doesn't have an exam right now. But the exam that is used by Nevada is used by most of the other jurisdictions as well. And that is, it's called the MBLEX, and it's put on by the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards.
Committee members, any additional questions? I don't think so. I have a quick one, or a couple. Do we have a shortage of massage therapists here in the state of Nevada? You're saying yes. Okay. Do we know, do you have any statistics on that as far as what's the shortage, how many positions are opened, anything like that?
Sandy Anderson for the record to Madam Chair. I do not have any statistics. I get calls all the time from the larger spas. They are the most short-staffed. And then from the chiropractic offices, some of the physical therapy offices, places like that that use massage therapists more as a medical provider versus just a more relaxation environment like the spas have. And they're always looking. The schools themselves, they're trying to meet the demand, but they don't have enough students either. So that's part of why we're kind of hoping we can bring folks in from other states. The other piece is that we do have some spas here where Vegas can be kind of cyclical. They have sister facilities in other states, and if they could move their employees around, that would help them too. Canyon Ranch is the largest spa in the country. It's on the Vegas Strip, and it also has a location in Massachusetts, one in Arizona, one in Texas, and they just opened one in California as well. If they could move therapists around depending on peak times and seasons, then that would help facilitate us having the therapists we need when we have more peak volumes of tourism in Vegas.
Thank you. Any additional questions? I don't think so. We'll move to testimony and support. Does anyone here in Carson City wish to testify in support to Senate Bill 270? We don't see anyone. Is anyone in Las Vegas wishing to testify in support? I don't even see anybody in there. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
Thank you, Chair. Callers, if you'd like to testify in support of Senate Bill 270, please press star 9 or raise hand in your Zoom window now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, members of the committee and Madam Chair. My name is Lance Hostetter. I'm Director of Government Relations for the Associated Bodywork and Massage Professionals. We're an association of 80,000 members nationwide, including about 1,200 in Nevada. For the sake of not being repetitive, I'll just say that we are highly supportive of the Massage Compact. We believe it is a vastly superior alternative to onerous licensure by endorsement processes that currently exist in most states. We believe that this will reduce the financial burden on massage therapists, and it will potentially impact Nevada's bottom line. In short, we believe that this is a solid policy to ensure that massage therapists and the massage therapy field have mobility and have the support they need to continue to be successful in their lives across state lines. Thank you for your time and appreciate your support today.
Thank you for your testimony. Broadcast, is there anyone else on the line?
Good afternoon, Chair Marzola and members of the committee. My name is Liz Barnard, L-I-Z, last name's B-A-R-N-A-R-D. I am the chair of the Nevada State Board of Massage Therapy. I'm also a licensee. My license number is 4810. And in addition, I'm also a consumer of massage, and I strongly support this bill. I think it's easy to see the benefit that some of the larger spas at the resorts in Clark and Washoe counties might benefit from, as Ms. Anderson outlined, in being able to move some therapists around. I think some of the smaller communities could also benefit from this, as they may not have the population base to support having a full-time massage therapist there, but may be able to draw people in from outside communities. And it may also encourage some people with an entrepreneurial spirit to just basically help share the benefits of massage to people in these underserved communities. And all of that while still assuring protection of the public with appropriate oversight, as has been outlined previously. And for those reasons, I hope that you guys are strongly in support. Thank you for your time.
Callers, if you've recently joined and like to testify in support of Senate Bill 270, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Ashley Hernandez, and I'm the Government Relations Specialist for the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards. I was just calling in to testify in support of Senate Bill 270, the Interstate Massage Compact. Thank you.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We will move to testimony in opposition. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 270? I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 270, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers to testify in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in the neutral position? I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in neutral for Senate Bill 270, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Senator, would you like to give any closing remarks? I will now close the hearing on Senate Bill 270. I will now open the hearing on Senate Bill 310, which establishes provisions relating to dentistry. Senator Kokachia, you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Senator Pete Goycochea, representing Senate District 19, and I'm bringing you Senate Bill 310 today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do so. First and foremost, I'm going to explain to you, as I started out, I had to beg for votes on the Senate floor to get this bill out. I promised we would get it amended and get it fixed on this side, and I believe we're there. You can look at the packet that I've got on this particular bill. We've amended it, and worked it. Like I say, the amendment that came to the floor on the Senate side, I couldn't even support myself, so we finally got the bill out. But and it's a 2/3 bill, so it was difficult. I had to beg for votes, but I believe we've got it right. There was some language in the original amendment that just scared people to death, and I've got with me Julie Muley and Dr. David White, and they're the experts. I learned one thing: you don't bring a dental bill when all you know is floating horses' teeth. It's so I'm very limited, and I'm going to rely on them to walk through the bill. But clearly, this is about dental assistants, and if we can expand them, their availability and duty, we can, in fact, I believe, make dental care more affordable, and at least in some of these rural areas, one dentist can probably see a couple more patients, and that means a whole lot in my world and in everyone's world. Truly, it's to get the service out to the people. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the experts because I clearly am already over my head. So thank you, ma'am, members of the committee.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, Dr. David White, W-H-I-T-E, general dentist in both Elko, Nevada and in Reno, Nevada. I'm going to keep my remarks brief as well because we'll be hearing from Karen Soley representing the dental hygienists and also Julie Muley with the dental assistants. And so really we've had a wonderful time collaborating, and we are confident that there is the most recent amendment that is up that we had worked through with LCB, and we are very happy with the outcome, and so all the stakeholders worked really well through that. It is a great thing when we can be confidently stand behind something that will not only help the workforce, and so we know within dentistry, keeping dental assistants, employed for a great deal of time and keeping them in the profession, and Julie will talk a little bit more about that. It's really something that's been a challenge over the number of years, and so this is going to affect your constituents and your voters long term, and we can go into that a little bit more. But ultimately, for me, also practicing in the rural areas, this is going to be an incredible advantage to access to care. I travel out 500 miles a week to go out and provide dental services in the rural area, and I know that getting the opportunity to not only lead another segment of my my workforce, but to teach them skills and enable them to be somewhat providers themselves is not only going to help their self-confidence, but also help those in need as well. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Julie Muley.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee. Julie Muley, M-U-H-L-E, and I'm the director of the Dental Assisting School at our Dental Assisting Program at Truckee Meadows Community College. And I've been in dentistry for 48 years. I started in high school. And so I feel like I have a pretty unique perspective on this, having been in education for the last 25 years as well. Despite the fact that there are currently no barriers to employment as a dental assistant in Nevada, there's a serious work shortage. And to put it in perspective, a joint study of the American Dental Association, American Dental Assistant Association, and Dental Hygiene Association, just in October of 2022, completed a survey of over 8,000 dental professionals. And in that survey, 1 in 3 dentists noted that they could not fill their schedule because they didn't have enough workforce. They also noted it was challenging to fill a schedule. They have tons of patients, but not enough help because the workforce is not as skilled as they would like them to be. So definitely a shortage. So the current skill set for dental assistants compared to most states in Nevada, it's very robust. Wages too have increased, and yet the shortage persists. SB 310 is a proposal to expand the tasks allowable for dental assistants in Nevada by creating a new career pathway, the Expanded Functions Dental Assistant, or EFTA, EFTA. Dental hygienists can also earn an endorsement in expanded functions that allows them to perform the same tasks as an EFTA. The goal is to attract and retain dental assistants by creating a career path and to increase access to care by enabling educated and competent dental assistants to perform the functions described in SB 310 with an emphasis on patient safety. The Expanded Functions Dental Assistant designation is not mandatory. It is voluntary and creates no barrier to employment as a dental assistant in Nevada. SB 310 creates a career path for dental assistants and also addresses the above-mentioned access to care issue. On a personal note, last year when I was visiting students in the clinical sites, my students were hearing, as well as was I, that recently hired assistants considered assisting not a career because they didn't have to go to school, they weren't getting the training that they thought they needed, and so that kind of spurred this, in addition to seeing a trend in a shortage of dental assistants over the last several years. Generational studies have pointed to a variety of reasons people choose a career. The importance of work-life balance, growth potential, feeling that what one does is important and makes a difference, and wanting to help people. In the study I mentioned earlier, the 2 biggest reasons that people were leaving dental assisting were because they felt it was a challenging culture to work in with the training and the leaving and the training and the leaving, and no growth potential. So those were the 2 biggest reasons. Creating a career path will help with recruiting new trainees because there is a place to grow, and retain longtime dental assistants who can use their skills to earn the EFTA credential. Registration and licensure provides a validation that dental assisting at this level is truly a career. Access to care will increase not only because there is a stability in the dental office staffing, but as a result of the allowable tasks for both dental assistants and dental hygienists. And right now, because of the cycle of hiring someone, training them, maybe they don't stay, we're paying premium wages for those folks, but because of the loss of production, dentists can't always pay a competitive wage. So that, again, creates this vicious cycle. So SB 310 is very important in creating this potential for growth for dental assistants, to recruit them and to retain them. And within the bill, there are several pathways to qualify for this. And one is even for on-the-job trained assistants who've worked a specific amount of time. So we're trying to make it as broad as possible and applicable to a large number of folks in the hopes that we can help with this workforce shortage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, thank you, and committee members. My name is Karen Solie, S-O-L-I-E. I am a dental hygienist, and I have been licensed as a dental hygienist in the state of Nevada since 1972. So 52 years of practice, and have seen great many changes in dentistry over those years. SB 310, as Dr. White alluded to, is a collaborative effort between the Nevada Dental Hygienists Association and the Nevada Dental Association. And I'll briefly talk about the couple of pieces in the bill that apply to the dental hygienists. One part of the bill will allow dental hygienists to also complete this additional education that that will give them a restorative endorsement, and that would allow them to do the same duties defined for the expanded function dental assistant, as well as their dental hygiene scope of practice. This bill also establishes some language that will permit the public health endorsed dental hygienist to supervise dental assistants and the expanded function dental assistants in performing the following duties that will be allowed in the public health programs that are endorsed and supported by the Nevada State Board of Dental Examiners. That would allow them to be able to place dental sealants, apply fluoride applications, conduct oral health education, and to take dental radiographs. This helps the public health endorsed programs. There's probably about a dozen or more, maybe 15 now, within the state where dental hygienists are performing services in schools and in senior retirement homes and homebound patients. So having an extra set of hands available to help with these expanded functions will really, really add to the amount of care that can be provided there. There's another portion of the bill that establishes a limited prescriptive authority for the dental hygienist. And this was where, as Senator alluded to, the language and the first mock-up or write-up of the bill talked about dangerous drugs. And that was language that the pharmacy board felt needed to be in there because of the word prescriptive. So we are limiting it to the prescriptive authority for dental hygienists. They may only prescribe the following items for the prevention of oral disease. That would be fluoride, topical antimicrobial rinses, medicament trays or mouth guards, and topical or systemic prescriptions for preventive dental care. So the dental board will adapt regulations that will determine the education and the continuing education requirements for that limited prescriptive authority. Part of the bill that you may be seeing, we discovered earlier today that the final mock-up that all the entities had agreed upon and taken to LCB might not have been what you have posted. We're hoping it does. There's 5 significant changes, and we have highlighted them. If you want, I'll take a moment or two and go over them, or you can, is that all right? Thank you, Assemblywoman. On Section 8 of page 5 and Section 9 on page 5, the line 29, we will be striking the language that says for dental hygienists with a special endorsement to provide restorative dental hygiene. This is allowing dental assistants to utilize ultrasonic scalers only to remove cement from permanent dental things like orthodontic bands and dental crowns. Dental hygienists already are authorized and educated to use the ultrasonics, so we do need to strike that language. A little further down on that page, Section 9 is where it alludes to what I already spoke with you about in the limited prescriptive authority. On page 6, we're striking all of Section 9.5 because the State Board of Dental Examiners is in the process of crafting that language for the dental therapists and the dental hygienists already, so that will be struck. Then we will go to page 9, line 10, 9 and 10. Again, that coincides with the Section 9.5 that was struck. page 32, lines, it's added in line 7. This again specifies the prescriptive authority to the dental hygienist. This just clarifies that they can only still do those 4 items that I previously mentioned. And the same on page 39, it specifies once more only those 4 prescriptive authority limitations to the dental hygienist. And I think we all 3 are willing to answer any questions, and thank you very much for your consideration.
David White, the WHITE, Nevada Dental Association. So I think what we're so excited to for the very first, not for the very first time, but very much come together as a group and work as a strong collaborative with dental assistants, dentists, and also dental hygienists to work towards something that we are very confident that will move ourselves forward. In terms of the 2/3 vote, this has been something where it requires the state board to take care of that. So when we have it'll go to the state board to require some licensing fees for that. So the most important thing is there shouldn't be any sort of anticipated fees from the general fund. So that's a very important thing. Now let's talk about basically most of your districts and how is it going to affect that, because we've talked a lot about the rural areas and I think that that's pretty explanatory. Well, I can guarantee you that there are many dental assistants and dental hygienists that are in all of your districts, and this can be an incredible opportunity for many of these folks to go ahead and have as something as they enter into the career they can look forward to and have a much more longevity within that dental family or dental home. And so we know that this has been around in many states very successfully, and the most important thing, very safe for many, many years. And so this isn't us creating, reinventing the wheel. This has been around for a long time in many states, and we just know that it is something that, because we've really suffered with this shortage, this workforce shortage within our own office, it hasn't been a busyness issue because of patients. It's been a busyness issue because of staff. And so this is one way to kind of attack that moving forward. So thank you so much.
Senator, does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, I believe we'll stand for questions and step back away from the table.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions? I don't see any, but I have a couple. My first one is, how many other states have passed legislation such as this?
Julie Muley for the record, MUHLE from TMCC. At least 38 other states have some version of expanded functions. And expanded functions nationally is not an apples to apples. In some expanded functions, the only thing you can do is take an impression. In other expanded functions, they're exactly as we've outlined.
Thank you. I'll let Assemblyman Urick ask his question, and I'll ask my last one.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Senator, for the bill. And ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to come into my office and meet me in advance and explain a lot of this. My question pertains to the prescriptive authority for these individuals. Can you just kind of help me understand a little bit? Because my guess is that they're not operating as independent practitioners. They're still working with dentists. What problem are we trying to solve by giving them prescriptive authority, and how is this solving it?
Karen Solie, S-O-L-I-E for the record. To your question, Assemblyman, through the chair.
And you can go direct.
Okay, thank you very much. Your question about where would this fit? Oftentimes, the hygienists are working on days when the dentist doesn't work, because we are allowed to see patients under authorized supervision. And so let's just say that patient is a young kid just getting out of their orthodontics, and we're seeing a lot of potential decay areas where they just haven't kept a good home care habit. We can prescribe a fluoride application and a fluoride home use for them instead of making mom and dad have to bring them back for the doctor to do it. There's oftentimes situations where you may want to recommend a product to a patient that needs maybe a little bit additional antimicrobial rinse for the prevention or the healing of a periodontal situation, and you would be able to do that. So it's really just the preventive and kind of the very early therapeutic types of things. Most times, even now, when my patients need something, I have to run up, print the prescription, and then go find him, and he's got gloves on with blood on them, and he's busy, and I have to wait, and my patient has to wait while he can finish to sign a prescription, or he's not there to be able to sign it. So this is just to hopefully be efficient and be able to still get the care to the patients and have it be safe.
I have one last question on section 4, page 3. It states any person is eligible to apply for a license to practice in the state who's a citizen of the United States or lawfully entitled to remain in the United States. Would that cover DACA recipients?
Julie Muley, MUHLE from TMCC. Our assumption is that it would, as long as that's the current legal language. That was actually put in by the Legislative Council Bureau, but our assumption is that it would. And I actually originally thought of the DACA students because we have several of them in my program. So I can't say for certain, but as long as that's allowable as it is currently, I would assume so.
Thank you for that answer. And I'm going to have legal look into that and provide a response for not only you guys, but for all committee members as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Committee members.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Goykochia, for the record, again, this is just, as legal put it in there, but it does make sense to me. It almost seems like, you are a citizen or lawfully entitled to be here and work.
Thank you. Committee members, any additional questions? I don't see any. Thank you for your presentation today. We will move to testimony in support of Senate Bill 310. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in support? Don't see anyone walking up. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line wishing to testify in support of Senate Bill 310?
If you'd like to testify in support of Senate Bill 310, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers to testify in support at this time.
Thank you. We will move to testimony in opposition to Senate Bill 310. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition? I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 310, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers choosing to testify in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in the neutral position? Don't see anyone. I still don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in neutral for Senate Bill 310, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers choosing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Senator, would you like to give any closing remarks? Okay. I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 310. I will now open. Senator Stone, are you the one presenting Senate Bill 352? Okay. I will now open a hearing on Senate Bill 352, which revises provisions relating to prescription drugs. Senator Stone, you may begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair Marzola, Vice Chair Howdegui, and honorable committee members. I'm Senator Jeff Stone, representing the 20th District, and it's an honor to co-sponsor this legislation with Senator Scheibel, who, as you know, is downstairs heading the Judiciary Committee, chairing that committee right now. The purpose of this legislation is to provide greater access, more convenience, less trips to the pharmacy, and potentially lower costs for Nevada patients seeking a prescription for oral contraceptives, including emergency oral contraceptives. Pharmacists are commonly referred to as one of the most overly trained and underutilized healthcare professionals. Let me be clear that this bill does not expand the scope of pharmacy practice by pharmacists, but rather expands the opportunities for patients to access such services that pharmacists are appropriately trained for. Because most pharmacies are open 7 days a week and many 24 hours a day, this makes it convenient for patients to see a pharmacist and get either a new prescription for a refill or their oral contraceptives or emergency contraception if their method of contraception fails, as an example, a condom failure. This is especially helpful in our state that is virtually open 24 hours a day as a worldwide 24-hour tourist destination. Lastly, this conveniently requires the insurance to provide up to a 12-month supply of oral contraceptives, so patients don't have to worry about taking their last pill and panicking. I will now review the bill, if I may, Madam Chair. Section 1, and there is an amendment which I'll go over after I do the presentation of the bill. Section 1 refers to pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, that manages prescription benefits for an insurer that is required to comply with the same provisions of the Nevada Insurance Code as are applicable to the insurer. Section 2 requires the insurer to demonstrate the capacity to adequately deliver such family planning services provided by pharmacists to covered persons and notify covered persons of a network of pharmacists or pharmacies who are available to provide such services. Section 3 and Section 6 through 13 prohibit an insurer from require a prior authorization before receiving an oral contraceptive drug, eliminating any delays and corporate red tape to receiving such prescriptions. Section 6 through 13 requires an insurer to cover certain contraceptive services when provided by a pharmacist to the same extent as if the services were provided by another provider of healthcare, as an example, registered nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and physicians, and reimburse the pharmacist for providing such services at the rate that is not less than the rate provided to a physician, advanced practice nurse, or physician's assistant. Section 14, the contract with the Department of Health and Human Services and the PBM, or Health Maintenance Organization, or HMOs, to comply with certain provisions of the law pertaining to the provision of prescription drugs under the State Plan for Medicaid and Children's Health Insurance Program. Section 14.2 authorizes a person or an entity to dispense controlled substances and dangerous drugs, to purchase or otherwise acquire controlled or dangerous drugs compounded or repackaged from an outsourcing facility. This section brings the dispensing of such drugs into compliance with the federal standards of what's called a 501B pharmacy. 501A pharmacy is a compounding pharmacy that can make prescriptions on the order of a physician. They must be patient-specific. 503B pharmacies can mass-produce drugs that are not patient-specific and can be distributed as such. Section 15 requires a pharmacist to dispense up to a 3-month supply pursuant to a valid prescription for the same and charge either one copay for the 3 months or a copay based on the number of months dispensed. If the prescription is well tolerated, the patient can refill the prescription for up to 9 months pursuant to a valid prescription order or an amount equal to the number of months remaining in the planned year, and shall not charge a copay if charged for one prescription order or a copay for each prescription that is dispensed per month. For a refill of an ongoing oral contraceptive, the pharmacist shall dispense up to a 12-month refill or the number of months left on the planned year and charge either one copay for the 12-month supply or a copay for each month dispensed. If I may now just quickly go over the amendment. So This is brought forward by the Nevada Association of Healthcare Plans. It's a friendly amendment. I think it makes the clarity of the bill better. In Section 2, 1A, must demonstrate the capacity to adequately deliver from family planning services provided by pharmacists or pharmacies is added to covered persons in accordance with the regulations adopted pursuant to Section Sub 2. And 1B shall make available for access, and striking the word provide, to each covered person in the state a notice that meets the requirements prescribed by the regulations adopted pursuant to subsection 2 of each pharmacist or, that's added, pharmacist or pharmacy that has entered into a provider network with the carrier to provide family planning services to covered persons who participate in the relevant network plan. 2, in Section 2, the Commissioner shall adopt regulations to carry out the provision of this section, and this part is added, and any other sections the Commissioner deems necessary, including without limitation regulations prescribing requirements for. And then Section 6.2, an insurer shall provide coverage for any contracted services eligible for reimbursement. Contracted is added right before services, and after services eligible for reimbursement is added. And that is the extent of the amendments. And I'd like to introduce my colleague. It's an honor to present this with you, Senator Scheibel.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Chair Marzola and Assembly Commerce and Labor Committee. I don't have much to add, really. Senator Stone is the expert here, and I think that he laid out the provisions of the bill very clearly. Just in case you didn't know, I wanted to provide a little bit of historical context. It's been the policy of our body for a long time now that we want people to be able to access 12 months of their prescription or of their hormonal contraceptives at a time. We have been working diligently to get that done, but Well, I kind of hope that none of you had this experience, but my constituents contacted me in the interim saying that they were still having trouble getting a full 12-month prescription when they went to their pharmacy. And so I've worked with a couple of stakeholders, including pharmacists, patients, my colleague Senator Stone, to try to figure out where the gap was. And we identified a couple of them with the insurance companies and the PBMs. And so the purpose of this bill is to just continue to fight for that policy that we have established before, that we want people to be able to get 12 months of their hormonal contraceptives at a time. And so hopefully this will close some additional gaps and ensure that everybody who goes to the pharmacy looking for that 12-month prescription is able to get one. Thank you.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Jeff Stone again for the record. We're happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. Committee members, are there any questions? I don't see any, so we will move to testimony in support.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in support to Senate Bill 352? Don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in support to Senate Bill 352, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 862, please press star 6 to unmute yourself. Caller with the last 3 digits, 862, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Amy Hale, A-M-Y-H-A-L-E, and I'm a pharmacist speaking on behalf of the Nevada Pharmacy Alliance to express our strong support for the amendments to SB 352, which would allow pharmacists the ability to prescribe hormonal contraceptives to patients and receive reimbursement for this service. This important legislation increases access to contraception for women across the state, leading to better health outcomes for patients. As healthcare providers, pharmacists are well positioned to provide contraceptive care, particularly for women who face challenges accessing care due to geography, transportation, and other barriers. Pharmacists are trained to identify potential drug interactions, counsel patients on proper medication use, and monitor for possible adverse effects. Allowing pharmacists to prescribe hormonal contraceptives will increase access to contraception, particularly for women in underserved areas and those without a primary care provider. In my own personal experience as a patient living in Las Vegas, Today, I have called 7 providers looking for an OBGYN appointment for a new patient, and the soonest I can be seen is in 2 months. Our current law allows pharmacists that are working inside of a licensed pharmacy to dispense hormonal contraceptives without a prescription, and the proposed amendment would create a reimbursement service for pharmacists to bill for these clinical services like other healthcare providers, encouraging pharmacies to provide this service to patients. In conclusion, we strongly support the legislation allowing pharmacists to prescribe hormonal contraceptives to patients. We urge the committee to support this important legislation. Thank you so much for your time and attention today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for your testimony. There are no questions.
Callers, if you've recently joined and like to testify in support of Senate Bill 352, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits 540, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Serena Evans, SERENA-EVANS, and I'm the Policy Director for the Nevada Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence. I just want to thank both the senators for working on this and bringing this bill forward in order to ensure that the language from last session is working as intended. We know that having easy access to birth control is important for everyone, especially for victim survivors of domestic and sexual violence who are oftentimes under constant supervision by their perpetrator. And so having easy access to birth control is not always feasible or safe. So we support this legislation and urge your support as well. Thank you.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We will move to testimony in opposition to Senate Bill 352. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in opposition? I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 352, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We will move to neutral testimony. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral? Welcome. Please state and spell your name for the record. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Brooke Rose Brumfield, and I work with Foley Public Affairs in the Nevada Association of Health Plans. We really appreciate this important legislation that has been brought forward by Senator Stone. And we appreciate the opportunity to testify neutral on SB 352. NVAHP is a statewide trade association representing 10 member companies who provide commercial health insurance and government programs to Nevadans. Our mission is to ensure the growth and development of high quality and affordable healthcare delivery system throughout the state. We truly appreciate the time Senator Stone and Senator Scheibel took to meet with us these past few weeks and value their collaboration on the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else here in Carson City wishing to testify in neutral? I still don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
If you'd like to testify in neutral for Senate Bill 352, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers choosing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Senator, would you like to give any final remarks?
Thank you again, Madam Chair and committee members, for hearing SB 352. This bill will make access to oral contraceptive drugs more expansive and much easier to get 24/7. It eliminates delays imposed by insurers by prohibiting any prior authorization requirements and will allow up to a 12-month supply of oral contraceptives to be ordered and dispensed. This bill will also make it convenient for patients needing emergency contraception when other forms of contraception fail 24/7. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you for your presentation. I will now close the hearing on Senate Bill 352. I will now open up for public comment. Please address your remarks to issues that fall within the jurisdiction of this committee. Public comment is limited to 2 minutes. Please remember to state and spell your name for the record. Is there anyone here in Carson City wishing to provide public comment? I don't see anyone. I still don't see anyone in Las Vegas. Broadcast, is there anyone on the line?
Callers, if you'd like to provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers choosing to provide public comment at this time.
Thank you. This will conclude our meeting for today. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, May 17th. This meeting's adjourned.
Committee members, if you could just stick around for 1 second, committee members.